The world is going mad. When you think you've heard it all and then you keep hearing things like this, can you imagine a nurse who has served the NHS for 12 good years, which I think, having all those years of experience in the NHS, she should at least not be a bad nurse. She would have been a good nurse. Served the NHS for 12 good years. She's a Uganda origin British nurse. Her name is Jennifer Mele, or if it is Mel, M-E-L-L-E. She stays in Croydon. She worked at St. Helier University Hospital. She was on a shift. According to her, she was on a night shift where she took over and she thought she had a good day.
Thank you for having me.
So much for coming in. We have covered many people's stories over the last nearly 4 years on this show. This story, I think, is the craziest of all. Would you mind just telling us what happened?
It was quite shocking on that day, being on a night shift. Like any other usual night shift, you would have handovers, and take over from the day staff, everybody willing to, excited to go home, and now taking over. And in the beginning, we had a very good sort of transition, and saying, going around the wards and meeting the patient, saying hello, introducing ourselves, like the new staff, we are here now to take over. And we quite had a calm first couple of hours. And it just came daunting to me when my colleague ran towards me in distress. She was so shaken, and she said, "Jennifer, I need help. There's a patient. He just says he wants to self-discharge, very outrageous, causing mayhem, and very disruptive to the rest of the patient being a trauma and orthopedic ward."
There wasn't a doctor, so it was your job to go and sort of...
Yes.
Fast forward into her shift, she went to attend to a patient after one of her colleagues distressfully ran to her and said a patient was kicking off. When she got to this patient, she addressed this man who is a 6'2", 6.2 feet. Emphasis, a patient who is a 6.2 feet tall. I am 5'11", 6.2 feet tall. She addressed him as a sir, only to be offended. I don't want to go through the history of this patient, how the patient has been luring young boys with the hope of taking advantage of them, and he had been charged taking advantage of underage children. I don't want to go into detail, because of community guidelines. He has been charged, known charges, and he came to the hospital in an orthopedic unit. Became really aggressive. The nurse came to get Jennifer, who I think is well experienced and in a higher position, to help. Obviously, she ran there, addressed him as a sir, and this actually offended this patient who has not been named. Patient then started screaming and using the N-word. Used the N-word at Jennifer 3 good times. Was offended that Jennifer had misgendered him, misaddressed him. He was supposed to be her or whatever pronoun he or she or it wanted to be addressed as, for Jennifer, who has now addressed him, it, she, her as a he, is now being punished. See, the problem here is not even just the fact that it is now becoming a thing that whatever you do, whatever you say, even on social media, you see people coming to threaten you, telling you you're a nurse, they're going to report you to NMC. You can just post something out of what somebody else will post. You post it online, somebody will be like, I'm going to report it to NMC, because they feel like they have the right to just strike you off the register or report you over every little thing, even thing that does not have anything to do with your job. That being said, that aside, Jennifer was then reported to NMC. To the NMC, Nursing and Midwifery Council of the UK. And guess what NMC said? NMC said Jennifer has gone against the code and conduct of the NMC by misgendering the patients, and that Jennifer had not followed the rights of the patients. Now, Jennifer was then demoted and listed to the extent that Jennifer can never get extra shifts or bank shifts, anything outside her ordinary. She moved from that hospital, went to another hospital, but she was then demoted. The issue is the guy who was racist against Jennifer. The guy was never addressed. Forgetting the fact or why this guy was in that situation, or why he was in the hospital and what he's been charged for, but it was okay according to the law or according to NMC. I think they said the hospital was trying to avoid being sued. So the best option for them was to blame Jennifer and praise the guy for using the N-word, calling her the N-word, and using all the R words on Jennifer and calling her names and doing stuff to the extent that the hospital thought it was okay for them to demote her. This world has actually gone mad. This world is going crazy. This is a 6'2" patient who looks like a man, a bloke in a skirt. I don't know if he had wigs on. I don't know how he was dressed. But the fact that Jennifer did not address him at that situation where everything is so tense on a night shift. I do night shifts, and let me tell you, I practically survive night shifts. When you're on night shift, you're emotionally stressed, you're physically stressed, you're mentally stressed. The least you want is a patient screaming, insulting you, and being racist against you, and using abusive tones towards you. And then to be called off for that, and then to be demoted for that, to be sacked for that, to be called out. The worst thing is now that the UK has now labeled her. It's actually in the news that Christian nurse Jennifer Melly has been branded a danger to the public for calling a mister. She's now labeled. It's in the news that she's a danger to the society. Make it make sense. What do you think with this? Like, is the world going crazy, or am I just... See, Nursing Council went investigated this case and still blamed Jennifer. After refusal, Melly claimed she faced racial abuse, physical threats, but instead of receiving support, she was given a written warning and referred to the Nursing and Midwifery Council. So the hospital reported her. They reported her to NMC, and NMC came up with the fact that they thought she has broken the conduct of nursing. It is well. It's actually a weird thing. It's a weird thing. And this culture of any little thing you're reported to NMC. What side are you on? Are you on the side of Jennifer? Do you think what Jennifer did by not addressing this patient as a whatever gender they wanted to be addressed as, do you think she's done wrong? Or do you think the hospital did the right thing? What do you think? Or you think the patient is right? And what is this culture of you getting threatened to be reported at every slightest thing? You can post a picture online of you on vacation and somebody will comment that they're going to report you to NMC. You can post a picture of yourself in a bikini and somebody will say because you're a nurse, you're not supposed to look like that. They're going to report you to NMC. You can go to the shop and get attacked, or somebody say something wrong to you and you retaliate, or you say something, you record them, or you're screaming, you're saying this, and somebody will come under the comment section and comment, they're going to report you to the NMC. What is with these threats in the UK? I heard in other countries it's not like that, but what is with all this threat? You can post, even some days, these days now, I see people who are sharing things that are happening in their offices, in the place of work. UK nurses, we cannot relate. We cannot relate because I know there's confidentiality. We cannot relate because if you try, somebody's going to come and tell you they're going to report you to NMC. You may not even be able to eat your dinner before somebody will tell you they're going to report you to NMC for eating. What is all this? The world is going cuckoo. The world is going mad. The world is going whew. What do you think? What is your opinion? NMC, please, I hope she has a good lawyer union, and I think her religious organization, because she's a Christian, I think they're also supporting her. I'm going to see where this is going to end. I'm going to see where this is going to end. And the name of the hospital, I'm going to put it here. If you work in that hospital, you have to be very careful. I don't know. I don't want to be biased. I don't want to say things, but what do you think? What is your opinion in the comment section? Thank you so much for watching. I mean your humble baby girl, Gloria. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, take care, stay safe, and see you later.